Good afternoon, Enmore Park members. I hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to just quickly talk to you about practicing, because for me, kind of how you practice is almost as important as what you practice. And obviously with a bit more time in our hands at the moment, some of you are practicing quite a lot. So I just want to make sure that you're kind of on the right track. There's quite a lot of detail into how to practice, but I'll just kind of give you a few bullet points for today. There's kind of, for me, three types of practice. You've either got block practice, varied practice, or game simulation. Most of us kind of in the home environment and practicing our gardens are going to pretty much be in the block practice, and where most people are in general, to be fair. And that is simply you are practicing the same thing over and over again. So whether that is the same type of shot, whether it's a 10-yard chip shot or a 50-yard pitch shot, or it simply could be you're working on a swing movement that you've been working on from a lesson. The whole idea of that is you're trying to get to a point where you are more successful. The outcome is more successful than not, basically. So if you have 10 shots, you're 10-yard chipping to a bucket. With 10 shots, you are getting more in than not, or hitting the target more often than not. If you are at a point where you haven't really got anything to work on, then you would fall into the varied practice. And that is basically the opposite of block practice. You are practicing different shots, very much like we do on the golf course. No two shots are the same, unless you happen to hit one out of bounds, in which case you probably will have another go at it. But if you're chipping to different targets, or you're maybe practicing to different length distances. If you're practicing at the golf club on the range, when we eventually get back, you might use different clubs for each shot. So that's varied practice. And then the last one is game simulation, and that can either be on your own. The kind of the easiest example I can give you of that in terms of short game is you'd have one golf ball, something to chip with, and a putter, and you would basically play from 9 different areas around the green. You chip the ball on and try and hold a putt. You'd also do your routine with this. That game's called par 18, because if you chip it onto the green and hold a putt, that's and you do that 9 times, that's 18 shots. That's also very exceptional. Or you could simply be practicing with someone else in your household, or if you're at the club, a friend, and you're play again one golf ball, you're picking a target, you're both chipping to it, either nearest the pin, or you're chipping on and trying to hold putts. Again, going through your routine. I would always drop the ball and play it as it lies as well, so very much like we see on the golf course. So when you are practicing, have a purpose in mind. What is it you're trying to achieve? Are you simply trying to work on a particular swing movement? Are you working on a certain distance putt or a chip shot? In your block practice, are you trying to repeat that to get to a point where it's more successful than not? If you're not doing that, then definitely be in the varied practice. Different targets, different clubs, and trying to mix it up as much as you can. Game simulation is a little bit more difficult at home unless you've got someone to practice with. That's a bit more something that you do at the golf club. In terms of length of time in practicing, obviously we've got more time on our hands. I tend to find 15-20 minutes of short, sharp, concentrated practice is better for me. Once I go beyond that, I get a little bit kind of, I wouldn't say bored, but my concentration definitely kind of wanders, and then I end up getting into some bad habits. You might find that you do 3 or 4 of those in a day, 4 20-minute sessions throughout the day, working on something different. But definitely short, sharp, I find, is better. So basically, to sum it up, have a goal in mind of what you want to achieve within that practice session. Is it something in particular in your block practice, or are you practicing different shots, simulating a bit more what we do on the golf course? I hope this works. Obviously, we've got a bit more time on our hands, so try and be a little bit more concentrated on what you're trying to achieve in the outcomes of it. And just lastly, I would say that when we're going forward and we get the course back open, anything you want to say about practice?
Dad.
Yeah.
When we was one day, Dad.
Yeah.
Remember the book, Puppy, Dad, Puppy, Dad, Mummy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely listen to what he says, because that was a lot of sense just there. Yeah, going forward when we get back to the golf course, bonkers. It's very difficult to take what you've been working on onto the golf course, and there is a process that you go through. So want to try and achieve it on the practice ground, and then obviously we want to try and take it to the golf course. Can we do it when we're playing? And then lastly, can we take it to competitions as well? I apologise for my family wandering around. They're normally locked in the house. They're not really. I hope you have a good couple of days, and I will see you on Friday, but make sure you practice with a purpose. Take care.